Good morning, everybody. Morning, Jeff. Mindful Matters. Morning, everyone. So it is literally like Groundhog Day, isn't it? We are trading still inside the last 2 days range, so inside Thursday and Wednesday. Bollinger Band trading up. We still have the potential gap fill on this regular trading hours move right here, all the way up in towards 600. PPI came out hot this morning, so more inflationary pressures, much like yesterday with the CPI print. So PPI came out hot, moving down into a slightly lower time frame on the hourly. You can see the hourly this morning, we talked about it in the Discord. You cannot short into these lows. This is the back test area. All right, this is still where we broke out from, retested. If we start to break down here, that's a whole different ball game when we can think about short continuations. But right now you have to respect these areas where it used to be sellers, now buyers. Why are you getting divergence between the two markets right now? Well, for starters, ES didn't take out its PPI wick. All right, it left its PPI wick and it's now just taking it. Whereas on the NQ, we did that move this morning. We did a move both sides. All right, this was the high of PPI and the low of PPI. So we swept the high, swept the low. I actually got short in here for this move down. Should have probably attacked it more, but we were coming towards the open, so didn't want to. The other thing is Tesla overnight. All right, Tesla overnight had its news event with the Tesla taxi, and they have sold that news event. It's a big sell the news event. They were down almost 10% on the day, triggering SSR. For any of you that don't know that, it's short sale restricted. It means you can only sell Tesla now when it is ticking to the upside. You will never get a fill for a downside continuation. All right, so it makes it harder to sell into Tesla. And they do that to protect the market. So Tesla was the one dragging the Qs down. Here's a big flush right now. Was the one dragging the Qs down. Also this morning we had Wells Fargo and some other bank names which actually had pretty good earnings. Now the banks are not involved in the QQQ. So when you look at the 100 companies in the NQ and the QQQ, banks and finances are not in there, but they are in the SPY, SPX and ES. So the basket on ES has relative strength right now. In Nvidia in a slight sell here. Tesla still selling off now, down 21 points, and we have news right now. There should have been consumer sentiment, I think, probably is what just came out. Let's just have a check, and then we have Fed talk coming. So Michigan consumer sentiment, so 1 year inflation coming in at 2.9 and the forecast was 2.7 and the previous was 2.7. So coming in hot there again on inflation, no surprise there. Consumer sentiment also down at 68.9 versus 71. So consumers are not happy and they're paying higher prices, and that makes it very hard for the Fed to think about another cut. All right, so that's where we're at. Nothing has really changed from yesterday, but we have to respect the charts. Right now, looking at the H1 chart, this is what I was just saying to my team. This was the flag for the breakdown this morning. We broke out, we back tested this zone, we failed. We broke the flag, we traded into demand. So now we're rotating backwards and forwards in here, building liquidity. If this snaps, we can think about a rotation to some of these levels. If they scoop it and hold, we're gonna go back upside. The other thing to note is the VIX. Okay, the VIX traded into that gap today that we've been talking about all week. And it's just found a bid just under 2050. So it wicked 2050 down to 2040, bidding now back upside into 2062. If they start reclaiming this upside move on the VIX, not staying in the gap, you have to be cautious for downside pressure. If they reject this back test of 62 to 80 and we go lower, then the market will go back upside. But so far, you will see how that demand area is soaking over and over and over again. This is where buyers came in this morning. You cannot get trapped shorting lows. All right, here's your 5-day previous day low. They're protecting it. So here's the drive into VWAP. And this now is the squeeze that we were talking about in Discord this morning. All right, if shorts get trapped at the low, we are likely to at least come back into these areas. Notice where we're coming into: higher time frame algo, previous daily levels, lower time frame algo, and VWAP, and the H1 block that we just talked about right now. So it will get whippy here as it trades back and forth while they reposition. No reason to be taking a trade right now unless you're already managing a position. All right, just let it whip around, let it trap everyone, let it do its damage. Going through the chat, sorry, lots to get through this morning. Morning, Jeff, Mindful Matters, DJ, Aurea, Candy Kane, Tomac, Marek, Glenn, Michael, Foster Scott. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. So we are still inside the initial balance right now, right? Initial balance is here. And if you think about zooming out slightly more, all right, as I said to my team this morning, we are really in a 2 or 3 day balance, which is here. This is your range, all right? It's failing each side of the range, failing to break down under it, failing to break out over it, all right? So we're in a balanced range and we have lots of conflicting factors. If you were a macro news event trader, you would expect the market to trade lower, but we must respect these levels, all right? We would need to see it start to do this kind of move for continuation lower on the higher time frame. And as you all know, those who've been trading with me months, years, weeks, or even days, I like to get my bias from looking up at the higher time frames. I need to have something from the H1. Michael, it looked like ES based over previous day open after this morning's open. Let's have a look on the ES. Yeah, it scooped. So it came and traded towards previous day low, found bids, traded upside, then went and took out that PPI print. That was the key thing. It took out the PPI print at 37 and it's now approaching previous day high. Remember, previous day high on the ES is all-time high. All right, so if we break out and base above that, there is a good shot for continuation upside, all right, because there's no resistance above. Good morning, Eva. The Hot Snap Trader, hey, good day. What product do you use for the VIX on TradingView with real-time data? I just use the actual VIX, mate. So if you type in VIX, volatility, S&P 500, TVC is where it gets its data from. I pay for data on TradingView. All right, so I pay for data on TradingView. Yes, what's up, Scotty? Good to see you. Hope you've had a good year, mate. Not talked to you for a little while. Hope everything's going well for you. Okay, so right now, just dancing around in that range. I'm up just over $1,000 on the day currently, so I'm not in a rush. Like I said, I took the breakdown short. The obvious short for me was right here, all right? One leg, we at least expect a retest of the low, and I covered into this move. Probably should have added here, right? Really nice breakdown into the 5-day. If they're going to protect that 5-day, if they're going to start to run ES, if they're going to leave VIX into that gap, NQ does have room, all right? It would be a squeeze type move, but it has plenty of room to fill its gap. Look at the QQQs. We have gap fill potential upside. I know sentiment was bearish, but you have to respect the chart in front of you more than the news. Good morning, Rob. Cash gap, I'm looking at the regular trading hours, Foster Scott, regular trading hours. Always interested in the regular trading hours. That's where they have the cash gap. So the Qs we'd need to trade up to previous day close, which I have at 49.62, somewhere around that, right? Which is what it looks like it wants to do. Now trading towards 92. All right, and the squeeze now looks on, doesn't it? As we've reclaimed VWAP, we're starting to curl, so we have some obvious levels up here that we can go all the way up for, and then think about continuation. So here's this straight squeeze. I think you have a Fed talk up right now as well. All right, so this is everything we talked about in Discord this morning. If the VIX comes into that gap, it's now at low of day into that gap. If ES breaks out all-time highs and takes the PPI data, do not get trapped at the lows. Think about the squeeze to the upside, because it's an all too common issue where you get caught up in sentiment and not chart value. And now we're screaming upside. All right, protecting this 5 days. So just think about this as the mean reversion. If we're going to do that mean reversion, think about where we go on a daily from a mean reversion. We will trade from a 5-day back up towards the top Bollinger Band. This is a healthy bull market when 5-day and Bollinger Band are trading upside. We break down under here, we break down under 20-day, we think about these lows down here. And then by the time we get there, the bottom Bollinger Band will be there. So that's the range that we're constantly trading between. question now is, can we get involved in another trade? ES tapping into 850, that psychological resistance of 850. All right, it actually got through it by 3 ticks and pulling back inside right now. So what I'd want to see on the Qs would be like this level here, daily open and close, previous day high. All right, remember this is PPI right here where we're rejecting right now. That's the PPI high. So we're looking for, very similar to yesterday, we would be looking, if we're going to stay bullish, for pullbacks to hold above VWAP. You'd want flow zones to support it. You'd want this imbalance to hold, and you'd want continuation upside. These have been violent moves this morning. It's because you have multiple timeframe traders trading against each other, something we go through a lot, right? You had short-term timeframe traders getting short down here, and high timeframe traders on the daily and hourlies getting long. High timeframe traders will always win. Don't worry, Scotty. Don't worry, buddy. Foster Scott, there's plenty more trades next week. You have a good day. You have a good day. Market will be here next week. So the VIX can do a gap fill. All right, its first level of support now is down at 20. Under that, the gap fill on the VIX will take it down to 1925-ish. Good morning, Remus. Good morning. All right, so lots of you turning up today. Appreciate all the support. Please do me a favor, hammer that like and subscribe button. Let's get this stream moving. Let's get some new people in the chat. Let's start helping everybody out. I'm here Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. New York time into lunch. So now you just really have to wait and see if the ES is able to hold and base at the 50s. We are going to need some structure here. Very hard to get long on a straight squeeze up. We really want to see some structure start to build out. Remember, you have daily levels up here, all right? These are your daily levels up here. Previous day open and previous day close, these white lines. But market is resilient. It has shrugged off that PPI news. All of the Mag 7, other than Tesla, are green, other than Apple, slightly red on the day, but will go green soon enough, I would have thought. All right, so Mag 7 holding up well. Tesla absolutely slapped on that sell the news event. Funnily enough, Uber was soaring towards all-time highs off that event as well, which is good for my friend TC. If you are in chat, we've been managing your Uber position for the last year, looking very, very good now. Held the 61 fib on the daily, on the pullback, and we're now looking for new highs. So I'd love to get involved in this. I'm not going to chase it though. It's going to go without me, so be it. Made my money this morning. Now we're reclaiming the H1. We're going to come back up to the higher time frame level of supply. All right, these levels up here where we have continuously found sellers. All right, let's also think about this as a range. We should be through the golden pocket right now. Lots of stops there at 68 as well. I would say look primed to get run right into the top of the golden pocket. Yeah, I would say if we can get going 460, 468, these levels right here on the H1, they look primed to get popped. This is where your sellers are. It's where the short stops are. We take those out, we have more upside potential. Remember, the level I would like to see us trading into to fill the gap would be into 600, right? That's a gap left from when we had that big gap down earlier in the year. What I'm talking about right now is on a daily chart, this gray box, this is a gap which needs to be filled, right? Once that's filled, the market can be efficient. So I'm going to stop talking now and try and look for another trade because I just missed all this action. But you can see this whipsaw here, right? This was dangerous, this whipsaw, but once it reclaimed, we're off to the races. So hopefully some of you got that. So hopefully some of you in chat got the long this morning off that demand area. Really nice. should have held mine. I was long from 340. So it would be up 80 points right now. Should have been holding that, really. It's my fault. So coming into previous daily levels here. Previous day close is the first white line. Previous day open is the white line above it. Have to see how we react here. ES looking very good, right? ES ran right up to 57. So as long as it bases above that psychological level of 50, it looks good. If it wants to pull back all the way down to previous day high into, let's call it 44, then it can do that, and then we can look for structure. I cannot touch this right now. If it's going to just scream all day, so be it. I need to wait for structure. I'm definitely not going to be buying the highs, and I'm definitely not going to be shorting tops. We will wait for structure here to build out. ATR did tick up for a bit, all right? It was up towards 30, 35 per 1 minute candle. So just be aware of that. Think about your sizing, think about your risk if you're going to get involved in today. We've just taken the top of London session out as well. So now we've washed out London low and then taken London high. So we're running lots of stops this morning. Like I said, I'm not in a rush. Up over $1,000 this morning already. Just going to take it nice and easy. Find an A+ setup if it presents itself. If not, $1,000 on a Friday will do for me. SPY looking very good. So if you're watching the index, the SPY, you can probably think about psychological levels into 580 would be your next mark. Qs now have filled that gap, comfortably filled that gap on the ETF. Just screaming upside now. This just stinks of shorts who got trapped down here, all right? Everything I was saying in Discord, we couldn't have been more obvious. You cannot get short at that low of day mark where we're back testing H1 breakout. Shorts clearly didn't learn their lesson because the same move happened yesterday is exactly the same move today, all right? They're not learning their lessons. You have to understand the higher time frame chart. It is so clear here in terms of structure. This was your breakout right here. Breakout, retest. This is internal range, retest. They came back in here, reloaded longs. Question is now, can they use these stops for upside drives in towards 600? That's the gap fill, the 600. So I'm looking for a way to get involved here. At the moment, it's not giving me a way to get involved. So I have to sit on my hands, stick to the rules. If you're a breakout trader, you can play however you want. If you want to be playing the breakout on this, please trade how you want. But I like to wait for structure. I don't want to get caught in a wash all the way back down to VWAP here. Are any of you in this long? Did any of you buy the demand near the low of day and are holding it? I'm very interested. I probably should have held a runner. So 560 now on the ES, approaching that 580 on the SPY. So really all you can think about now is fibs or standard deviation extensions on the moves and psychological levels. There is nothing else to play off. If you're looking at the SPY, SPX, ES, you have no overhead supply, all right? So you need to be taking partials into things like fib extensions, into standard deviations, into Bollinger Bands, into psychological levels. Just hold your runners and let it work. Don't get in the habit of trying to short highs, all right? It is the easiest way to lose money. You have to wait for structure to show you something. If we start getting lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, you can think about joining that trend. But remember, the higher time frame trend is very much to the upside. If you now have a look at the daily on the NQ, It is holding beautifully towards the upside. We talked about it earlier. Maybe they will want to build a flag out. We don't know if it's going to do it today. Might be next week. But it wants to come and fill this gap. I'm telling you, this is what it wants to fill towards 600. This just goes without me. So be it. All right, I'm not buying a flag up here for me. All right, flow zones are far away. Even this swing requires a deeper pullback, even for that flag pullback that we think about. I'd much rather it does a deep pullback, retraps, and has another attempt. VIX tapping at low of day again. QQQs have now also filled the imbalance which was made between after hours yesterday and the pre-market open today. So not only filled that cash gap, but also filled the imbalance between after hours and pre-market. Getting very close here on the SPY to that 80 mark. So it just shows how resilient these markets are. You can have hot inflation come in, but you have to trade technicals. Often I find with all these hot inflation datas, we will trade the technicals for the first few days and then they will rotate off when they've got their money out of the market that they want. All right, so they're going to drive for new all-time highs, probably sell for a couple of days next week, and then we'll have that pullback. They pin it high and then they'll probably do the big pullback. This flag looks like it's going to play out here then off the daily levels. Not deep enough for me, but it is holding this for upside for now. Cannot be thinking about shorts right now, all right? You are in multi-time frame longs. Beautiful. So flag playing out, if you took it, need to be taking partials on every break of structure, remember. Yeah, that's great, Michael. That is the key to trading. All right, the key to trading is to have a top-down approach, to understand what the higher time frame is doing, and then try and position yourself around it. So you want to be looking for bullish patterns on the lower time frame in higher time frame levels of demand, and you want to be looking for bearish patterns on the lower time frame in higher time frame levels of supply. So this morning we got a nice bullish pattern into a high time frame demand level. Even though we were selling off into it on the pre-market, all that really was an opportunity for higher time frame buyers to reaccumulate long positions. The Russell treating you like a king body bag. Let's have a look. Oh, the RTY. Wow, what a move. What a move. Straight up. Lovely. Well done if you're in that. So rotation into small caps then, which is normally a risk on event, you know, when they start to do that, which is interesting. So Tesla starting to claw its way back now, all right, after going SSR, starting to claw its way back. So down from 10%, now 7% down on the day. Apple still red, just over half a point. Let's have a look. Yeah, 0.25%. So I would like, ideally, some form of trap move here. Something where we do this would be ideal. The best buying opportunity was way, way down here. All right, these moves down here, these were buying opportunities. I don't really want to be buying 100 points higher than that. Like I said, this is very thin structure, this straight squeeze up. So thin up means thin down. So maybe it back tests, is that the CPI wick? Maybe it back tests towards CPI into 416. If it gets beneath that, we can think about the H1 levels into even 85 and below. So need to be careful here. But I do expect it to come and take out 470, 465, 470. It's where a ton of stops are. I need a way to get involved. Again, I don't like buying when we're just in these upward channels. We talked about it earlier in the week, I think it was Wednesday. When we just do this as a grind all day, I don't want to be buying here. I want a trap. We had it Wednesday. We talked about it on stream and it came very, very quickly off stream. It happened about 5 minutes into lunch. So you've got to think, if buyers are joining late here, what do we always talk about? The market needs to make sure everyone loses. So if they keep joining late, it probably washes them, then reclaims, then goes. If it goes up too high today, and what I mean by too high, if it takes all the liquidity I'm interested in, I will not get another trade today, and that's okay. So very similar to yesterday, when we already take all the key levels of liquidity and I have nothing else to aim for, it becomes very hard for me to trade. We are, for now, still in a range, right? We're still in that range, don't forget. Right, this is still a range right here. When we get outside of this range, it gets easier. Even though this is higher time frame supply up here, it will get easier outside of the range. But my bias is upside. I'm looking for reasons to get involved, or ways to get involved, I should say. Yeah, so my buddy TC told me he's still holding in Uber. So he's been long since 30. Amazing. I'm not just going to buy a dip here either, all right? If it's going to offer it, it's going to have to dip violently. Trap shorts start to reclaim, and I'll think about getting in on that right shoulder of an inversion. Inverted head and shoulders, or if it can leave a big fair value gap to the downside and reclaim it, even better. We'll look for some confluence. Oh, it has blurred. You're right, Aaron. All right, let me jump out of the camera and see if it comes back. It's 2 days in a row now, it's done that. That's better. So still squeezing upside. It is holding at flow zones. Again, it's holding this steep trend right now. That was probably an opportunity right there. It's the best opportunity we've had so far on this extension. I might miss it if I'm going to wait for the trap, but it's okay. Like I said, I've locked in some good money this morning, not in a rush for this. So SPY trading at a high of 79.92. Approaching that 580 level. I would imagine there's some options up there. Haven't checked the option wall, but I would imagine there's something up there around 80. We have 3 more minutes until the initial balance is set, and then we will have to respect initial balance rules. Yeah, YM above all-time highs, ES above all-time highs, everything breaking out other than the Qs is not near all-time highs yet. It's got a way to go. They're looking good. Maybe that buying opportunity was a missed one right here off the flow zones. I really wanted a trap move. Talk about it a lot. When we're looking to break out, I want to have as many shorts trapped in as possible so I can use their stops for upside. I don't really love buying up here. still inside the range as well. All right, so we're not broken out of that range. If you look at the hourly, look at the daily, look at the last 3 days, including today, we're just in that range still. Straight squeeze, leaving lots of imbalances. If you look at an M15, M5 right now, we are in straight squeeze mode. Libisk, are you trading YM, or you're just watching it and got a notification? So I know you trade some other markets, not just the Qs. SPY now at that 580, all right? It's peaked it and now it's trading back underneath it. So it peaked it by 10 cents, hovering around it. Well, at least you got a piece of it, which is good. I was the same on NQ. I traded it short side this morning, then flipped long and took it off too early. To be honest, I would have got stopped out anyway on that 10 o'clock newsprint. That would have stopped me out. Scotty, crazy move, yeah, crazy move on the markets this morning. It's what happens when you have lower time frame traders stuck. So many people saw that PPI print. Yeah, I normally trail, but I got knocked out early, trailing up, which is fine. But we've had some nice moves the last few weeks on stream. The last week's been a bit crap as we've been trading inside. I think previous week we had a couple 200-point winners holding streams, holding longs on streams. So now you have to see, we've now traded through the top of Asia as well. All right, so we're not leaving much liquidity left to hunt for. It's going to become harder and harder and harder here. Taking that level out at 67s and 70s that I talked about. It's a big level where there were clear stops up there. That was my draw on liquidity. Past this, 507, like previous day high, up here. This is an old wick, and then 600 for the gap fill. This is very extended, right? This is a very sharp move up. Yes, we're basing on here for now. Again, I still would prefer this. This might just be one of those days where you need to close your eyes and buy. I see traders would call that bounce up on ES after that little range turtle soup, I think. What did you have turtle soup on? On ES are you talking about? I mean, I don't think we swept a low. There's no, I don't see a soup on ES other than if you're talking about the print. It's really, I don't think it's a soup. I just think it's a structure thing. Soup would be something like when we take it previous day low and trap short traders in there. Similar to what I'm saying, but we didn't actually trade through any lows here. All we did is get them stuck into this demand area. So I need to be cautious about a deeper pullback here. VIX also trading upside, right? That has me slightly concerned. VIX trading back upside into that 2070, no longer in that gap. All right, so trading back upside. This is very much like yesterday. For those who are in Discord, we talked about it. If we're pinning highs on the market and VIX is trading upside, you have to be very cautious. And that happened yesterday, and it did a huge flush moment. SPY trading back underneath 580 now. QQQ into old supply. Really, there's not much else to aim for now other than 500, 509s. Yeah, well, 508s, 509s, previous day high. We're running out of things to aim for. I would say there's been a lot of traders today like me who've been waiting to get long for something here and didn't get long. So they'll be waiting now for a trap pullback. The problem is we've taken a huge amount of liquidity. We do have one level left to aim for. Pull back somewhere in here and start to reclaim might be of interest. But again, thin structure up, thin structure down potential. It's a big move on the hourly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Basically taken out a whole day. Over 24 hours of trading pretty much taken out in 1 hour. Not even in an hour really, in 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't like that move on the VIX, but maybe it's just filling in imbalance. We'll see. So far, all dips in the flow zones are holding. Every single dip right now is holding. But these are the moves that I'm very cautious of when it does this, and then I'd rather rejoin around here. This 580 SPY definitely key. It keeps knocking on that door, pulling back from it, knocking on that door, pulling back from it. I don't know what we're trading at on the SPX. 820. So I don't know if anyone's got option walls up there, if anyone's watching Unusual Whales or anything, there's probably something there, I would have thought. Probably a lot of puts there. Matt R, I keep getting kicked off live stream. I keep having to click live. I don't know what to say, my friend. There's nothing showing as an issue my side. Is anyone else having that issue? Might need to reset your browser or something. Yeah, I think it's just you, Matt. So retest of the initial balance high now. Remember, IB rules apply. And we are running out of liquidity to aim for. So far rejecting that IB high. So you have to think, can we sustain auctions above it? Or do we have failed auctions and trade lower back towards VWAP? Would be a common trade. Would be a common trade. If we do a failure. Decent size IB for once, 167 points today. Remember, you must respect the IB rules now. A rotation back towards VWAP would be amazing right now. Wash out all the longs who joined late. Maybe come and test. What's this level here? 18, where would that be? Yeah, the CPI print high is like around here. PPI, sorry. Would be nice. Back test of that. See how we act. Yeah. Al Brooks is not trading on a 1 minute though, illegal immigrant. And you're not doing that when you've taken all liquidity. You can do that down here, but you're not doing it when you've taken all liquidity. If you want to do that, you be my guest, right? Everyone can trade their own way. I tell you now, Al Brooks will not be buying breakouts of bars on 1 minute when all liquidity has gone. Sammy, I have like not it. Yes and no. I have it built in, but not as one indicator. If that makes sense. I haven't been able to code it for one indicator, so I have like 5 or 6 indicators, but I've managed to build it in, so it looks like this. Yeah. So same. I'm working on it though. I am working on it. One of the guys in chat in my Discord has been able to build it. One sec. One of the guys has built it in chat for, not Sierra. What's the other one that everyone uses? Quant Tower. Someone has built it for Quant Tower. Sammy, it's free in the course. It's free for everyone. There you go, Bart build it for Quant Tower. So it's free for everyone that does the course. As is Discord, it's free. No worries, Sammy. So just consolidating up here at the highs, possible accumulation, but again, you have to be very careful with initial balance rules. Failed auctions can lead to breakdowns towards VWAPs. For me, most of the liquidity we're aiming for has gone. Even on the H1, we've tapped into that 75 level. The only thing left is 509 and the gap fill, so I'm going to wait here. I was long this morning, right here, and I sold on this move, and I would have got washed out had I held. Right, and I was short also this move. I was short here, and I closed the position here. So I've had 2 decent trades this morning. And any of you who were here yesterday or in the room, you'll know I've got a huge amount going on in my life right now outside of trading, so I have to be extra patient. I would imagine it'd be quite easy for me to go on tilt right now, so I'm being very cautious with how I trade. And probably have to remain that way for the next week or 2. So initial balance for now being sold into everything we've talked about, standard initial balance rules. We need to see either a trap or some form of liquidity be built out, but you need to be cautious of this move. If it can do this move down, then you need to be cautious of the reversal after taking out these levels. So potential wash down and then trap wash back up. That's what I'm seeing starting to build out. Definitely got some exhaustion at the highs. Buyers do not want to be buying the highs in front of the initial balance. Easy way to get in trouble. So that 580 on the SPY, definite resistance. Popped it by 10 cents and failing back inside. Now trading at 579.60s. Right, so everything we talked about happening, you have to think about where those option walls might be. QQQ as well, finding supply at that same area as it did yesterday. For now, all right? Remember, thin up, thin down, all right? This was a very quick squeeze up. This is not strong buying, it was a very quick squeeze up. So we have to think about where it might want to come down to. And deeper, the better, really. These are the previous day open and close levels, these white lines. I'd still like it to wash deeper. I'd like it to come and stop everyone out. I talked about it earlier. When we have these trend lines going straight up, I will not be participating as a buyer. I like buying on pullback. Strong move, pullback. Strong move, pullback. This is an easy way to get yourself in a lot of pain, all right? Market continuation patterns do not look like this. Think about how a market moves, right? A good bullish trend moves up. Oh, if it let me draw it, moves up, pulls back, moves up, pulls back. What it does not do is just do this. And everyone who bought late in here is now learning that lesson. Again, initial balance playing out. Yeah, it's having a very strong retracement cap. That's what I was saying, why I was very cautious. I didn't like buying up here because the VIX was trading upside. So we traded into that gap. Remember, underneath 2060 on the VIX was into the gap all the way down to 1920. Now it's trading back up at 2076. So it's traded into the gap, reclaimed, and starting to push upside towards its IB high. So if the VIX is at IB high and the market's at IB high, what's that telling you? It tells you that there's a massive divergence. We had exactly the same move yesterday. I talked about it a little bit earlier. The same move happened yesterday. I talked about it in Discord for those in chat, and it gave the clue that the market was going to give a flush because they started hedging by buying the VIX, which is what's happening now, and now we're getting this rotation down. It's exactly why I use the VIX. Because when you get a divergence like this, it makes it very clear and obvious. You cannot be buying up here with the VIX trading upside. If the VIX was currently trading 20, 19, sure, easy buys, isn't it, up here? But it wasn't. All right, so the VIX turned around 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago is way over here. All right, this is when the VIX started trading upside while we were trading upside. That was the divergence in the market. Trading back into previous day close now, right? This is PDC. Would love some of this to get washed. It might not need to. It's washed this, almost washed the next one. Remember, this is thin structure, very thin structure here. There's nothing more than a squeeze this move. But if we can create some form of liquidity, something like this, I'll be interested. If we're just going to rotate down, we can come all the way back down and hunt for that. Remember, that is also a data wick. These are datas, right? This is the 10 o'clock print. This was the consumer sentiment print. So if it wants to come all the way down, it will come all the way down. And I will remind you, we are still trading inside range, right? We're trading inside range. Nothing has changed. Remember what we said earlier? This is your hourly chart. Every move above here has failed. Every move below here has failed. This is your building of liquidity. These are failed breakouts. Nothing's changed. This is the same as we've done for 3 days. That's why it requires some patience. Thank you, Persistence. That's very kind of you. Thank you. It's a nice distraction for me. As long as I don't think about what's going on at home too much, trading can be a nice distraction for me. I very much appreciate that. Okay, so thin up, thin down, all right? Elevator up, elevator down. I'm very aware of this data low here. Let's pin this out, see where we can get a retracement. Let's put this in so we remember it's here, which is right next to the 5-day moving average now. This could be an easy level it might want to come for. Remember, news was not good, right? Markets are resilient and we went in a squeeze, but the news is not good. So I wouldn't put it past it to do a rotation all the way down. Remember what we say, IB high, VWAP, highly probable. This trade, highly probable. We talk about it every day on stream. We talk about how to trade it in the course. I probably could have taken this here for a breakdown. I'm out to the IB high with a very short stop. Oh, thank you again, Bart. All right, so I'll do that all over again. IB high to VWAP, highly probable trade, right? When we can't break through IB high, remember longs are above here, failed auction, rotation VWAP. Thin up, thin down. 10 o'clock print is right here. This is a news print, it matters. Right, so it might, if it wants to get weak, it might rotate all the way down. If it's going to trap, after now sweeping this level that I talked about, if it can trap here, trade back upside, then maybe I'm interested in this move. Maybe. Depends how we get there and what it looks like. Awesome, Matt. What was it, the one that I put in chat, just so I know in future? I can't remember. I've done so many. But yeah, really important you know your tilt triggers. Really, really important. Just as important as journaling anything else. Yeah, it was the one. Okay, great. Thank you, Matt. Glad it helped. Scotty, thanks very much, mate. Glad you're enjoying it. Okay, so the VIX traded back up to its IB high. All right, we found a little bit of resistance there for now. VIX very much looks like it has the ability to start trading upside today. And that would worry me about the market coming and taking these. So we're trading right now at the PPI Newsweek high, right here. These were PPI levels. That's where we've traded back into. I will get long if it shows me it wants to move back upside, but I'm not going to get long now. This is a heavy market in a rotational move back towards VWAP, and I know that we have this hanging here. Also now I know it's really hard to see, but we are in mid-range. We're just in mid-range. If you just zoom out, why I didn't want to get bullish up here. This is high time frame supply. Every time we've come up here, we have failed. Like I said, we washed this liquidity. There was a high probability move into 70, but it never gave something on the lower time frame to get there. All right, if it gave something like this, I could have got long, looking for that move to 70, but it didn't give it. So we sat on hands, didn't buy the highs, didn't get trapped at least, and now we've done that high probability move, IB high VWAP. Those who turn up here every day, those who do the course, will have seen that we do this move almost every single day. Unless we're in a very strong trending day, we do this move every day. So if it fails VWAP now, it is going to want to hunt Newsweek low, IB low, 5-day moving average, mean reversion trade. Mag 7 now red other than Google and Amazon. Any questions, team? Anyone with any questions in here? Probably could have just taken a short against this, really. Didn't have to have a lot of risk here. 20 points risk for a 60-point trade. 3R would have been worth it. Would have been worth it, but at the time you were fighting momentum. Michael, on the 1 minute chart of the ES, the moment after the daily high was broken, if you draw a fib from the bottom to the top of the break of it, retraces 0.5, is it good for a long area? Potentially. Is there structure there with it? Is there structure there with it? Sorry, my phone popping off here. Bear with me and I'll have a look, Michael. Do some quiet. One minute chart ES. Moment after the daily high was broken. Bottom of the pivot to the top of the break. Daily high was broken at 45. So what was your, what are you pivoting off? I'm not sure what you're pivoting off there, Michael, for me to have a look. M5 pivot. And at what time were you looking for that long? I haven't got it breaking through that until on an M5 until 10:05. So the pullback happened before that, and after that on a 5 minute, you're just straight up. So now it's probably going to want to fill that balance. 704. What's 7? Do you mean 10:04? New York time. San Fran, you're the same as me, you're West Coast, okay. Yeah, I mean, on the M5, once it broke, it just went. I don't think there's a 50% pullback there you can really play once it got through that 844, 845, 5,844, I mean. I don't think there's anything there you can really play off. There's a pullback before it, 10 o'clock, but that's in the news. Honestly, I don't think you've missed anything. I don't think there's something you can take there. Right now, we're starting to soak, though. So if you go from high of day now we're in that 30% flag zone. Right, so like this on the ES is sitting at 30. Let's take this to the low. We've gone deeper. We've gone to 50 here, bouncing off VWAP. So here is what I'm thinking now. Can we reclaim? And are we going to use liquidity? Or is this just going to be trend down and come and hunt this? Gonna have to wait to see a reaction here. But this could be possible manipulation. If it holds this, potential bullish cycle back up. Yeah, I take trades, buddy. I'm up over $1,000 today. But I took a lot in pre-market. No, all good, Shane, all good. I take trades and I tell you when I'm in and when I'm out. I haven't taken a trade since stream's been on. Right, so I know what I'm looking for. If we trap, I'm looking for this. For a long setup, back to take out relative equal highs and IB high. If we keep failing here, I'm going to be very, very cautious. You have lots of time frames now fighting each other, unfortunately, which is not going to make it easy. ES looks good though. ES looks much, much better than the Qs, right? ES nowhere near its VWAP. Relative strength there on ES, holding that 850 psychological level, it looks very, very strong. And look at the VIX, all right, rejected its IB high, trading back downside in mid-range. Yeah, Scotty called this move, yeah. I'd say fairly obvious move this. What happens next, less obvious now just because of VIX. But VIX gave the clue for this move. Yeah, one new hourly candle in 1 minute. So we'd probably better off waiting for that. See if they do a manipulation move on this. Because the hourly can still trade down. It's 19s. 87, where did we come into? We didn't get far off. Eva, best time for pre-market? There's no best time really. It's just I was here and I saw that setup after the PPI data came out. It was just a first bounce short of a retracement to retest the low. Very high probability setup. So I took that. What time would that have been? I entered that trade at about 8:45 and I closed that trade just before 9 o'clock New York time. Okay, so 20 seconds to a new hourly candle. And this will matter. Matters where this hourly candle closes now. Because we can use the close as support and resistance. But yeah, no best time either. Like, I don't know where in the world you are, but you can trade any session you want. Just be aware of the news. Liquidity is much stronger in New York. So from 8:30 to 9:30, liquidity starts to build up. You'll get better fills. Bear with me, I'll be right back, team. Okay. Shane Richards, anticipating VWAP to also hold all the way back up to highs. Yeah, potentially. Potentially. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. Yeah, breakdown retest right into this level. The only tricky thing, I would say the only tricky thing is this right here. Don't love that. But overall, bullish is momentum is upside, right? All the markets want to move upside. The other thing is what we talk about all the time. Has it taken all the key liquidity? It's, for me, that's the hardest thing right now, is it hasn't left a lot of targets to aim for. Maybe previous day high, but it's taken so many key levels out. Previous day open, previous day close, Newsweek high, that H1 level at sort of 65, 67. After it's taken it, the probability of it going higher starts to weaken because there's nothing for it to really aim for. And it's very similar to yesterday. This is what makes the market harder. If we hadn't taken all these levels, all right, and we'd done pullbacks here, these trades are much, much easier. It's now starting to look pretty good here for a higher low. Feels like it might have trapped here under this. Can it hold this level now for moves up? Right, this is exactly what we were talking about. And VIX is trading downside, which is nice. Back testing here, previous day close, white line. Can we get involved here in something? Hot Snap Trader, if we join the Discord, do you trade all the time? I mean, all the time, maybe not, but I'm constantly calling out stuff. So pre-market, all through the afternoon. Does anyone get this on Ninja? I keep having this a lot. I am not in a position, but it's saying I'm long from here in an account which I traded, and I'm not in a position. I know if I close this, it's going to run it as a loss. It's really, really weird with Ninja Trader. I'd love to be up on this runner, which it thinks I'm up, but I know that I'm not up on it. I'm flat on all my positions right now. So weird. Yeah. What is that? Is that an Apex thing or a Ninja thing? I don't want to close it. I know if I close that position, it's going to flip me into a short. It just shows where I was long earlier. I should have held to be up. Really nice. Are those Blu-ray blockers or... Oh, these are prescription. Yeah, I am blind. Absolutely blind. Probably from years of staring at screens. So yeah, I literally can't see a thing. So I've got stigmatism in both eyes. As well as short-sighted. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. It would flip me. It's so annoying, man. I just don't get it. I do not get it. I can see on my R Trader and on my Ninja, I'm flat on everything, but on one account, it thinks I'm in a runner. So can we get long here? Is there a way for us to get long here? I need to stop chatting, don't I? Because I should have really been long 15 points ago. VIX still dropping down. VIX looking good here. And here we go. So can we get this squeeze up? Oh, okay, that's good to know, GB. Thank you. Yeah, 2043 is good. Good long on that flag. Just very, very simple here. Just want to see this hold and squeeze up. Don't want failure into these levels. Oh, Control Z. Don't want failure into these levels. The easy trade will be above here. That'll be a really easy trade now if you've missed it. $36. You got long at 36. Yeah, same move. Yeah, right here. Flag break. Supporting with the flow zones. You got this buy signal short term. You want to be aiming for the IB high. If you get through that IB high, you can think about psychological levels, previous day high. This is an old daily high up here. And then through that, we can get into 600s, right, for a gap fill. So looking pretty good so far for that potential trap. Especially if VIX starts to break down underneath the low of day, trading back into the gap, that would be amazing. cautious here. Need it to just get through all of this now, really. Don't want to see them come back here on an M5 and have it fail into 60. Want it to squeeze straight through that. This is looking good. Through 60, we'll fill that M5 imbalance, then I expect us to take out that IB high. This is looking very, very nice now. So I've got a piece of this, I've got a small amount on. Just small until it proves itself for me. Joined on that last flag. Later than all of you in chat who got it. So I'm taking a little piece off here just for that M5 reprice and rebalance, and I would like to hold my runners now. Thank you, Coop. Yes, please like the stream. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Hopefully you all turn up next week. This is looking fantastic now. So everything we talked about on stream playing out today perfectly. Thanks, Coop. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Right, so we talked about this move up. We talked about how it would need to wash this liquidity, fail the IB high, and then maybe trap in. And then we were looking for this move right here, and we're joining trend. If you haven't taken this, that's fine. We can wait now for a base above IB high, and then a potential trend day higher. All right, so don't join now if you're too late. Just wait now. Let it go and take everyone out. VIX now at 20.50. Just want to see pullbacks hold here, basically. If we start to wash and go lower, you have to be careful, right? There is an imbalance on the M5, which we've just filled. So I'll take you over this right here. So you just want to make sure that they do not put in a lower high here. You don't want this to trade back down to this area. Or at least you don't want to hold your position down into that area. You can always re-enter, just remember that, team. You can always re-enter, you can get flat, take partials, re-enter. You don't need to be holding positions all day. If it's not doing exactly what you want, when you want it, especially when you're trading momentum, just take it off. Or reduce your size so you're relaxed. So I would be cautious here if they keep failing it. Again, the higher time frame chart right here. It's where we keep failing and we've washed a lot of liquidity. So the next level really is 507. So you got Logan speaking right now. Let's see what he's saying. Without a doubt, they'll be spinning everything right now. They will be worried that they look like absolute fools right now with inflation ticking up. So Logan saying recent inflation data is very welcome. A less restrictive policy will still cool inflation. The US economy remains stable and strong. That's all I can really see here. No other major comments. So they're trying to hold dips, but again, we're in that imbalance, right? We're in imbalance, so just be cautious of that lower high move. If we can hold this, then I think we can trade upside, and above IBH, we have a better squeeze opportunity. Here we go, failing that M5 for now, just like we talked about. So I'm about to be flat on runner here. Is anyone trading options out there? If you are, if you've got cheddar flow or unusual whales, is there like a put wall on the SPX up here or on the SPY at 580? Just interested. Interested where that next liquidity pool might be for SPY, SPX. Right, so traded into golden pocket, now going to trade back down probably towards 26. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, if everyone can smash that like button, it helps me. I'd love to see this channel growing a bit faster than it is. I think I've had one loser on stream in the last 3 or 4 weeks that we've been here. And we've had some really nice trades. The last week's been a bit slower, unfortunately. Thank you, team. Everyone hitting that like button, thank you so much. Do they rehold this now? Still looking good for potential liquidity to be built out here for upside. Still potentially looking good. If VIX can trade back down towards low of day and break its IBL, we have a nice upside potential move here. All right, but right now we're just trading between fib levels. Notice we're sort of trading between here and here while it builds out liquidity. Remember, we're coming, it's a Friday, people will take lunch a little bit earlier today. But really what you want to see dips into here, hold into around here. If that doesn't hold, you need to be very cautious of this. Otherwise, you'd be looking for a kind of W pattern. And like I said, the easiest play will be up and above here, because then it will truly have short stuck. But if they're going to wash this lower, the target, if they really start to break down, will be this Newsweek low. So one thing that has me cautious currently on the longs is that we've done so much damage. Went and took so much liquidity and traded back into the top of the range. So really, on days like these, you want to be trading, sorry, can't get my words out, trading from the low of the range with bullish patterns into the top of the range. And we had that earlier. All right, these are the areas we want to be thinking about buys, not up here. Not after we've taken all these levels out. The only ones left is this and then the top of the box. So that's what makes it hard right now. We're really going to just trade back into the middle of this whole range. If we go up and bottom and mid to 1. Yeah, we're trading pretty much bang in the middle of it. Liquidity starting to dry up, right? The ATR starting to dry up. Bar to bar counter volume starting to dry up a little bit. They can easily just pin it here the rest of the day. If you think about what this would look like on a daily, if we ended up closing the day with something like this, set up a really nice daily. Really nice daily for that candle breakout next week. So if we close anywhere below here, then I'll be looking next week probably for a Monday, Tuesday high, and then a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday sell back down, or at least a Wednesday, Thursday pullback. If we close inside, right? If we can close inside. This is what you need to be careful about. If they do this, this is thin structure down to here. Lower high failed auction, yep, so far. But it's going to trap between these two pivot points now. So basically from here, Scotty, to here. And then we have to see what's what. But definitely this is of, oh, this level down here is of interest to me. Mainly because we squeezed so violently away from it. This move, very light. So the confirmation really, there's your high, there's your breakdown, retest. Looks like it wants to go lower for now. We would expect lower prices if it does this to come and sweep these levels out. But we are dancing mid-range right now. Body bag. I noticed for every high time frame scenario, you always saying waiting for a confirmation structure on a lower time frame before entering. Yeah, so I'm not buying. Let's say that H1 comes into an H1 demand level. I do trade structure on the lower time frame, but I'm waiting for higher time frame levels. Right. So I'll give you an example. Here, I was short this morning for a breakdown into here, and I was covering here, and then I was long based on structure from here back upside. So it's exactly what I'm doing. But I won't just stick on lower time frame because you won't see the S&R points as well, I don't think. You won't see the imbalances as well. You won't see where high time frame traders are playing. But right now we're just trading into PPI print. That's all we're doing, backwards and forwards into the PPI print. PPI print was at 408. All right, this level here, that spike. Or is it this one here? Maybe it's slightly higher. This here. So we're just trading backwards and forwards in that. No worries, mate. But that is exactly what I'm doing. But I mark out my levels based on higher time frame. If I just watch a 1 minute or 5 minute, I'll get way too zoomed in. It's really easy to get zoomed in and forget where you are in the chart. And what I don't like now as well, the flow zones are kind of just flattening out. When we get nice trends, we get these moves, and then they're just flattening out now. So leaving imbalances on the way down here on the M5. Do they hold VWAP and W this for a move back up and consolidate? or do they let go? Lots of that will depend on what the ES is doing here. ES relative strength holding the market up. Still trading above 850 is key. So it's currently trading at 857. VIX trading at 20.50. It's back into that gap, but it's not at low of day. So if they're going to use this liquidity, right, we tried to drive up. It failed the M5 restructure. Trading down now. If they snap this, they can come and run this level. It is an if because they can also trap. Right, so I'm just going to wait now. So far, this looks like, if you look on an hourly chart, today looks very much like the previous day and day before that. It looks very similar, doesn't it? Pullback, drive up, failure, mid-range. Pullback, drive up, failure, mid-range. Between these levels, it's just chop. Between these. That's all right, Siri. You've got plenty of time to pass those. Just take your time with combines. Easiest way to fail them is to oversize and rush. Next week you'll be all good, you'll pass that, no worries. Just break it down into like $200 a day, then you'll pass it next week. How many of you are trading combines right now? Where are you trading? Who are you trading with? I haven't traded my top step in a little while since I last took payout. Yeah, you too, Siri. Have a great weekend. Scotty, I have 5844 target on ES. 5844. Previous day high. That's what you're looking at, basically. I'd watch that 4675 as well. Apex evals, Apex. Yeah, I'm trading 15 Apex PAs currently, and I've got a few top step. There's not much left in the top step. I absolutely drained it on the last few payouts. Nice Coop Apex PAs and top step. You got the 250k PAs, haven't you? I think. Funded with Apex, yeah. I'm probably going to get some TRADEIFY ones next week, and I'll probably do them with TradingView or TradeIFY. So I am going to take a week off for Thanksgiving. I'll be in Palm Springs. I don't know how good my internet would be, so I'm going to need something where I can trade web-based. I like the honesty there, Bodybag. Bodybag says he trades his own capital because he's not too good at following the rules and he likes withdrawing whenever he wants. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. Yeah, you like TRADEIFY, Johnny Boy? I do too. Good platform. Nice, Labisk. Oh, that's after we had a chat. Good work. Yeah, I'm going to go straight to funded on TRADEIFY. And then trade those over Thanksgiving week. I don't know if I'll be able to stream Thanksgiving week. I will try my best, but I have no idea what the internet would be like in the house I've rented in Palm Springs, and I've got my in-laws in town as well, but I will do my best. But yeah, so I'll be trading probably TRADEIFY accounts over TradeIFY web-based, see how I get on. Hopefully I'm not drunk all week and I don't do anything stupid. Okay, so potential W here. This was the concern here, as VIX trades lower, the potential W against this pool here where buyers came in. It is getting tricky now because there's a lack of real impetus in the move. All right, these are like drip down moves. Again, holding the golden zone here. This is often a high probability trade from here to here. As I said, flow zones have started to flatten out. The H1 candle is not looking great really right now. A turkey, chicken, duck. We're going out actually for Thanksgiving. So my in-laws flying over from London, England, and we're going to book a restaurant in Palm Springs. I've got a few that I was looking at. If any of you have been to Palm Springs and gotten advice, I mean, I've been, but if any of you have been for Thanksgiving, let me know. I'm looking at Copley's. Apparently that's supposed to be very good for Thanksgiving. But hopefully it'd be nice weather. I've got a decent sized house with a garden so my dog can run around and enjoy herself, and a pool and hot tub, and I will probably mostly be drinking whiskey and smoking cigars that week. Palmer's Green. No, Palm Springs, much hotter. This weekend, yeah, I'm actually going out this weekend with my Canadian friends for Canada Day, Canadian Day. So happy Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend, Kat. I didn't know that's where you're from. Where in Canada are you from? You've probably told me on stream. I've got lots of friends from Toronto. Good golfing in Palm Springs, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not a good golfer. I'll give it a go. Got no one to play with either. No one else in my family plays. So just letting the market do what it wants here. There isn't much edge here for me. The question is, does this break down? All right, there's too many options here. Does this break down, wash this low and attack this data? Or are we going to put in a W and start to base above? Like I said, the long will actually become easier up here. I know it's a late buy, but that's when you know everyone here then is a short that got trapped. Right, so you can play this later in the session. You don't need to be attacking it now. Right now, I guess if you're long, you would have to risk this and look for this. And it's probably a 1-to-1 or just over. It's not a great play right now. So I'm just going to let this build out. Like I said, I've made good money on the day. I had another scalp trade, locked a bit more in, but not in a rush right now. Quite happy to relax on a Friday. You're from Ottawa, okay. Up north, cottage country. Yeah, so I've got lots of friends whose parents live up there. Is it starting to get freezing right now? Is the lake like freezing over? Do you do like lake fishing? I'm due a trip actually. I'm very much due a trip. I do love the Canadians, good people. Yeah, beautiful this time of year. Yeah, I'm sure it is. I think Canadians are the nicest people on earth. Just so kind. Actually, most of my friends in Los Angeles are Canadian for some reason, but they are. Market just stagnating here. All right, so if you look at something like the volume, or if you're looking at like the ATR, I'm looking at the ATR on a 1 minute. We peaked today. The peak outside of newsprints was around 31 points a minute. On average, until the last hour, it's probably been about 21. We're now trading at 8 or 9 points a minute, so it's dropped right down. Not too cold yet. Yeah, full colors, lovely. So one thing I'd say with Los Angeles, the seasons. I miss the seasons that we used to have in London. Putting on a winter jacket or anything like that, you don't really get it. Yeah, exactly, Scotty. What do they call that? Canadian suit or something? You guys can fill me in. Canadian tux, is it? Canadian tux, yeah, I thought so. Yeah. I love that when I found that out here. Very cool. Shane, yeah, chop range here, exactly. That's why we're just talking. Wishful thinking, yeah. I mean, it is starting to look good here, all right? But it needs to get over this, and then really over this, and then we trigger squeeze up. We're trading back into that previous day open level right now. We're stuck between sort of, this is previous day open, previous day close. We're just hanging around between VWAP down here, IB high, right? So this is a very typical day. Once we get above it, we open the gate for upside. If we do a failed auction above it, we will use this liquidity violently to come down. Generally speaking, I sort of favor upside in the market because there's no overhead resistance on the ES and SPX and SPY. But I think that 50-80 level must be a clear level on the options chain, I would say. I'm not in any position chain. I was in a long around here for the move up. I sold some and then I stopped out break even on the move back down. Not in anything right now. Tempting as it is, not in anything right now. For me, I like it when flow zones open up and then I can just join. It's been a tough day really because what I would have liked was just something here earlier. This would have given me a really good risk reward, A+ trade, momentum upside, target 1, target 2, target 3, hold the runner. And then I could have locked in 80 odd points. That's the kind of trade I like. Yeah, I'm up $1,073 right now. Not a lot, but it will do. I didn't link my account this morning. I took the big trade in. Had I done that, I think I'd be up like $11,000. ES looks like it wants to do a 10-minute flag here, all right, over the last hour. But again, I'm not trading this long right now. I'm not interested until it really shows me it has some strength here, especially now. We're only 25 minutes into lunch. Just checking news here to see if there's anything else coming. Opening range break, very nice. So ES opening range break. On what time frame did you take that opening range break there out of interest, JP? On the hour or 5 minute, 15 minute? 1 minute, wow. Good for you. got aggressive with it. Let's have a look. The ES was amazing this morning. The strength on the ES this morning was amazing. That's really nice. So you got long above 27, which was also above VWAP, and it ran you all the way up into previous day open. Give you a good 10-pointer there. Did you manage to hold it onto it beyond that? Yeah, that squeeze this morning on ES was nice. On chop days, Scotty, I will still trade, but really I prefer, like, some days I'll take this. If my bias here was, I mean, I did call it lower, didn't I? But if I had a strong bias that I thought we were going to rotate, then I would trade the edges of the initial balance, right? So I'll trade the edges on initial balance days, but I won't participate mid-range continuation. Like, I'm not really interested in between here right now. It often means I miss stuff, honestly, because I don't wait around long enough. But most of the time in days like these, if we start to build here, I won't be here by the time we do this. And this is the trigger point where we get really good continuation, because it means all the shorts are stuck in here with their stop at high of day. Or the same the other way. I'll happily take breakdowns. If we start losing VWAP, higher time frame algo, trading down, and I've got a clear level to go for, like this right here, if I'm here, I'll take that rotation back down. But inside like this, like I've had one attempt here for the move, didn't do it, take it off. I'm not going to keep trying over and over again. I'm just going to wait. But yeah, I will take rotational moves, not just trend days on flow zones. But I have to trade them differently. I'm not interested in the flow zones when they're flat. So like, you could have taken this short, I guess, where I was taking the long. This was at M5 imbalance up here, retest of the high, very simple trend, breakdown. If you're taking this, you have to cover into this low because the momentum on the day is bullish still. So you have to cover into that low. Same thing here. If you're taking this breakdown, you'd need to be covering into here and holding a runner, because actual momentum, this can just be a giant flag. Momentum is upside. That's the same from a fractal point of view. From here, momentum is upside. This can be a giant flag. Breakout of here is what will send us higher. Right? Strong move up, flag. Strong move up, here, flag, here, flag. We expect this and this until it proves otherwise, until it starts producing a higher time frame narrative that we're failing lows. God, it will let me draw in a minute. That we're failing lows. And then we're going to go the other side of the curve. Shorts from here, trigger here, rotation, looking for these higher time frame. Thanks, Shane. Yeah, if you can stick with higher time frame, I think I talked about it earlier, it might have been yesterday. If your higher time frame bias is up and you're taking longs, you're far more likely to have winners. Even if you're slightly sloppy, it means momentum's far more likely to go in your direction. And then it's just a question of entering in positions where you think buyers want to participate. But like the trouble is now on things like the SPY, SPX, ES, slightly different to the Qs, and I guess the same now on the RTY, if RTY is at all-time highs, I think, and maybe the YM. To go higher, you need shorts trapped in. Those shorts will be intraday shorts. No, there's no swing shorts here, especially on the ES. Let's pretend this is the ES. So, short trigger here, shorts add. Shorts add more, shorts add more. What's the trigger for us to go up? It's for these shorts, intraday short 1, intraday short 2, intraday short 2, to get squeezed out. They get squeezed out, cover, 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 upside potential, buyers can come in with them, squeeze up. So to go higher when we're at all-time highs, you have to have intraday shorts come into the market. We can't just bid up all the time. We need their liquidity to help us go upside. Think of it, Scotty, I know you traded small cap, so think of it like those horrible Chinese tickers, right, which had no right to go upside. The only way you were getting those moves from $1 to $10 to $20 to $30 to $40 was by all the shorts coming in and selling pin high, pin high, pin high, pin high, and then get blown out, blown out, blown out. And then eventually, when there's no more shorts, there's no reason to buy it anymore, some idiot will come in and buy the top and then they'll sell it back down. It's the same with every market. It's exactly the same right now on the ES and SPY. Okay, so VIX is trying to approach its IBL here. I've drunk so much water and coffee this morning, I am going to need the toilet again in a minute. It's going straight through me. So there's your 50 tag coming up. I can't remember who said that. It might have been Shane. Yeah, I think it was Shane. VIX approaching low of day. All right, so starting to feel like potentially there are some shorts stuck in here. I'm going to have to pee. I'm really sorry, guys. I'll be right back. I have to ban myself from drinking water on stream, I think. I think it's the third time already this morning. It is early for me still though. Remember, it's 8:45. I've been up since 5 o'clock. Or 8:45, because apparently Americans don't say quarter to anything. I got told that the other day as well. What is quarter to? Like I'm an idiot. So just building out liquidity here. All right, we are building out liquidity here for now. This kind of channel. VIX low of day now. It's tapping that low of day on the VIX. All right, so if VIX starts breaking back into the gap again, use quarters Libisk. This is not just me. Oh, I got told here, maybe it's a California thing. I say like quarter to 12, quarter to 10. I got asked what I was talking about. I felt very stupid for a minute, like I'd done something wrong. Okay, if the VIX breaks down here into that gap, watch for the flush to 20, and then maybe we can get a squeeze up on the market. If it rotates again, we're just going to go on the VIX. So far, we've gone from IBL to IB high, back to IBL. You're in California, Libisk. Where in California are you? I'm in Los Angeles. Oh yeah, totally. It kills me. You're in San Diego, nice. It kills me getting up that early. And by this point in the week, I don't know about you guys, but by the time I get to Thursday and Friday, I am fully exhausted. Like I'm absolutely exhausted. I can't wait for the weekend so I can have a lie-in. You grew up in Ventura. I used to surf in Ventura County quite a lot. Really nice down there. C Street, good surf down there. Sacramento, nice. I've got friends over there as well. Yeah, I actually really like Ventura. I think it's a cool little spot. I'm basically in Pleasantville, a place called Playa Vista, so I'm right next to Venice, Hermosa, Manhattan. I'm right in between all of those, Marina del Rey. Yeah, exactly. The sleep-ins, so needed. But I have a dog and she likes to wake me up for a walk at the weekend. So a little flush there, sweeping these internal lows right here. So are they going to use these to pivot up now? VIX still looks like it wants to drop further into the gap. ES though doing that dance. Like I said, the hard thing here, all right, I know that we're building liquidity. The hard thing there, or currently today, is that it's done such a good move. It's taken so much liquidity. We took the Newsweek high. ES broke out through all-time highs, came right up to 50 or 580 on the SPY. So there's probably a big wall there. NQ took previous day open, previous day close, initial balance high. It took out those hourly highs we were talking about at 70, 40, 70, 470. So the tough thing here is that the easy targets or the low hanging fruit, it's taken. It's taken the low hanging fruit, and that always makes it hard. Much easier when you've got 3, 4, 5 targets above you for a draw on liquidity for it to aim up for. Very tempted just to hit long here and hope it goes higher, but there's not an actual setup right here for me. And I keep looking at my H1 chart. I just keep reminding myself, where are we? We are in this same area where we keep rejecting. I would rather be late to the game, let it get over it, and join in. That will probably end up being next week. So I'd love next week a Monday, Tuesday hive week, and then a sell. That would give us some really nice opportunities. Does look good here for that possible sweep and push up on that internal liquidity. It looks like it wants to do it. I haven't been to San Diego for a little while. I went with my wife maybe 2 years ago. I used to go there for work quite a lot. I don't know if it does, Scotty. I don't know if they're already trapped in. Right? So if they sold here and they added here and they added here and they added here and they added here, now we just broke below here. If I think this flat top here and here, it might be enough. Deep would be great. Sure, I totally get what you're saying. Deep would be fantastic. To take this one out here, but I don't think it necessarily needs to. It's been hanging out here for quite a long time now. Just holding the top 50% of range. Like I was tempted to just buy this dip then here underneath this swing low for this. Even that's offered 20 points off that dip underneath. But it's just tricky here. I keep looking at H1. I'm like, you can't be buying this right now, mate. You've just got to stop. It wasn't my work, actually. It was my wife's work that brought us to California. We moved 2 weeks, or maybe even less, maybe a week before COVID. So I was here, flew home to London and Manchester for some work, and I was the last flight back into California. Last one allowed in. VIX really knocking on that door of that low of day. Yeah, crazy time. So I moved into corporate housing in Hollywood on Sunset, a place called the AKA. Didn't know anyone. We were there for 6 weeks. It got locked down after a week. So what terrible time to move. I mean, good because at least we had the sunshine here. This is looking good now, isn't it, for that move I was just talking about. So tempting to just come in here and try and join the momentum for upside. Gonna remove my hands away because otherwise I'm gonna take this long. I really like that trap it just did on a lower time frame on the 1 minute. Yeah, so didn't know anyone, couldn't talk to anyone. My wife's job at the time was very secret, so I couldn't even tell people why I'd left London. So I had to lie to my mum and my dad and my sister and my best friends and my old business partners. It was a crazy time. Crazy, crazy time. But I love California, but man, it is expensive over here. It's absolutely insane money to live here right now. The money we've put into rent here could have bought another house back in England probably in the 5 years that we've been here. It's wild. There's the squeeze. It's hard that when I think about doing it and I don't. It's discipline, but this looks good now. VIX tapping right on that lower day on VIX. So this might be the flag starting to play out that we talked about, right? Just really simple. Trigger up now. So if you're in this, you want to be aiming for 65s, partial out 65. You're still in the old M5 imbalance here, all right? Still in this imbalance here. If it gets through that, if it flips this, and then flips this, we get a really good upside move. Michael, add another 2K onto that, and that's what I'm having to pay where we are right now. Astronomical. I couldn't believe the first time I went shopping in a supermarket here. I choked at what a weekly shop was costing me here, and I thought, oh, I must be in a really expensive supermarket, and it was just a Ralph's because, you know, we don't know what any of these supermarkets are when we move. Insane. The price of everything here is insane right now. Oh, it's gonna go. Oh, that's hard. That is hard to sit and watch. That is really hard to sit and watch, guys. Oh. Oh, that's probably the first one today I've missed and had my finger on the trigger just to take it. Yeah, longs are looking great, Shane. Longs are looking great here. So I almost bought at the 30. And then I thought again a second ago about buying 40, 45s. And I stopped myself. It's looking really good. Yes, that 10-minute flag starting to build out really nicely. Looking very, very good here. Should run high of day here, really should run high of day. Michael, my place is nice, but like for the money, it's not insane. I'm in a very nice, safe community. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is really painful to watch this now go without me. Ay, ay, ay. Had a feeling that was it. Had a feeling it had trapped enough and that was it with that sweep. The clue for me was this sweep here. Once it took this out and reclaimed, this looked good for the move up. Bang. Yeah, exactly. Close your eyes and push it. Well, my finger were right on the hotkeys thinking about taking a market, which is never a good thing. That's how much I wanted to get into that move. So you should have taken a partial there if you're in that for that sweep right here of 65. So now you have to think about, does it need to come back down and hold this for a continuation, or has it just got enough trapped and it's just going to fly now? ES looking very good. I really want to see VIX break that low of day. Okay, so Shane, my entry when I was first saying it was right here. Once it put that wick in and reclaimed, and then just a moment ago when I said I'm really tempted to take this, would have been right here, just for a really clean breakout with the flow zone starting to go upside with it now. So this would be the trap and this would be the momentum. Yeah, I did. I didn't take the dip. I called it saying it's very tempting, and then I didn't take the momentum. I was watching the H1 and I just told myself, you're not going to do this coming into lunch. Just don't do it. So I'm probably going to get off stream shortly. So very nice run up. Very, very nice run up. It should take out your IB high now. It should really just go and punish everyone in here short now, really. All right, like we talked about, this is really just a giant flag. It's trapped enough for them to do it. So this was the wash, this is the reclaim, this is the break, this was your last chance for them to get out okay on the shorts, and now they're going to get their faces ripped off probably. You'd want to see ES join this and VIX drop back in. If VIX drops back in, looking very, very good. Yeah, Monday, exactly. Hey, I've been 4 figures, I think, every day this week. I'd have to check my stats, maybe one day not, so not a bad week. Not a bad week. Always more days to trade. So remember, this is a new H1 bar now. I don't like the look of these last few bars either. I'd really want to see H1s leave some imbalance that it can take. Yeah, end of the week's nice and green, Shane. Nice and green. I haven't had a red week for a little while now, which is also more of a worry than a positive thing for me. I'm always thinking if it's gone on too long or I haven't had one, normally it means there's one around the corner. So right back into that supply on the H1 right now. I'll probably stay with you another 5-10 minutes here. Remember, volume is going to probably die down here unless you get a breakout. Yeah, exactly. You know it's coming, so you have that fear. And if you're not careful, it will come on the day when you feel really confident and you size up and you get slapped. It's normally the way. Make sure you can see that nice and clean. There we go. So ES still not quite broken out. That 80 is definitely a level, all right? 580 on the SPY has got to be a level. Nice work, Greg. So hopefully you got a piece of it then. They need to stop blaming Americans for everything. Who's they? What have I missed there? Have I missed something? weekly pivot 580. What are you looking at? Which ticker, Sloth? You're looking at the NQ? I don't know what you're looking at. SPY. 1 second. I mean, SPY is at all-time highs, so that's just the high it put in this morning. Let's have a look on a fib what that extension might be. It's trading at 1.5 extension, 161 off the pullback this week. Oh, hang on, let me just get that tighter. It's actually trading into a 161 off that pullback that it did on the 3rd of September. So from the high on the, get this right, from the high of the 26th of August to the weekly pullback on the 16th of September, it's trading at a 161 extension right now on the weekly. But I haven't got anything else. It's blue sky territory for the SPY. So like I said, it would just trade into whole numbers and extensions. Fib extensions, standard deviation extensions. Those are the only things you can mark out now on the SPY, SPX, ES, because you are at all-time highs, so there's no resistance above. So if you're looking at standard pivots, they're probably based on fibs, I would say, or measured moves. So if you've got a weekly pivot there on 580, it's probably the 161 fib. Slowed right down now, hasn't it? Slowed right down. That was the move and I missed it. Beautiful move here. Sweep of this, reclaim in, hourly push. Looking very good here to continue higher. Flow zone is now starting to support action, which is what you wanted to see. When I said down here, I'm not interested in it, I want it when flow zone support action. That's what you're starting to get now. So the question now is, can they cup and handle and extend higher? The flag looks absolutely beautiful. Lots of shorts trapped in there. So even though I haven't traded that much today, we called all of this, right? We said no longs up here. We're likely to get a trap under this. It trapped. And then from this point, we were thinking about longs. So we tried one here, didn't work. I should have tried again here because this time it went. Now we're thinking about continuation upside because the higher time frame narrative again is upside. So if you get through this IB high, this is the next wick. This is previous day high. If you get through this, we have an older daily wick up here. And if you get through that, you want to be looking for a push into 600. 600 is the gap fill on regular trading hours. If you go to an hourly chart or an hourly chart on the NQ, you will see there is an old gap fill. I can show you what I mean. To mark it out, make sure I get it right. Let's put this into a 1 hour chart, into regular trading hours. Let's take all this off. Here is your gap. Let's take the adjusted off 1 second. There you go. This is your gap, all right? It's a big cash gap. this is what it wants to fill. So right now we're trading at the bottom of this range, but the true cash gap fill will be to right here where it closed. That's what the market wants to do. For efficiency, it needs to trade up there. So you can see we're tapping the bottom of that range, but the efficient market will trade to the top side. The top side of that just so happens to be the top of the Bollinger as well. Sammy, is the course updated for how you trade futures now, and do you plan on adding videos and tips for trading props? Prop tips I normally put on YouTube for free. I do update the course. I've recently put the video in there with the new indicator on how to use it, and I can add more stuff in all the time. Normally I just put private lessons in the Discord. If you do the course, we do private lessons there. So we have a slight divergence here. ES pulling back, NQ trying to drive higher, and the VIX trying to drive higher right now. Awesome, Ramus. Yeah, take your time when you get back into it. Never a rush. No problem, Sammy. So VIX again bouncing off its IBL. Failed to break that IBL. ES still trading sideways in the flag. NQ traded upside, but is getting stuck at the top of supply. All right, the same area over and over again. This red box, it's this old daily supply block. Okay, up here is where sellers came in on Thursday the 24th. So this is where we're getting stuck. We're getting stuck between the breakout point, really from Monday the 30th. Once we flip that on October the 9th, we're getting stuck between these two regions, building liquidity. It wants upside. The question is just, can it do it? Can it trap enough to get there? I got a slight bleed on the camera. Let's pull this over. Just watching ES here, very, very tentative on an M10 as it's coming back down. Lack of confidence in this area for me right now. The best long was the one I didn't take. Yeah, the best long was the one I didn't take. The one we talked about, but I didn't take it. That will give you, you know, you should be comfortably able to hold runners right now, up from like good 20, 30, 40, 50 points up. You should be able to hold runners. I'm probably going to call it a day there, team. Is there any questions or anything you want to go over before I leave? Before I leave for the day and leave for the weekend. No worries, Michael. Yeah, any questions, pop them in chat now for the last minute or two and I'll answer anything that you want me to talk about within reason, Volume profile. Yeah, I watch volume profile on an hourly. Yeah, so on this chart, I have session volume profile right here. So I watch it on an hourly here. But there hasn't been much for me to look at the last few sessions because we've just been consolidating point of control and consolidating. So I haven't had it on for that reason. There's nothing, no edge in it right now. Favorite trading podcast, David? That's a good question. It used to be Chat with Traders, but since Aaron left, I really haven't enjoyed it the same way. It sounds a bit harsh on Tess and everyone, but I think the quality of guests has diminished significantly. But if you want to go back to the early Chat with Traders podcast with people like Mike Katz and stuff like that, I think that's a really good podcast to listen to. Who else do I listen to regularly on a podcast? Let's have a look. Anthony's the other one. What's his actual podcast called, though? Anthony Crudelli. He does a weekly. It's quite good. Just catching up with chat here. Yeah, have a great weekend, Sloth. Thanks, Lipitz. What did I say about this morning about shorting Tesla? I was just saying that basically Tesla was down because they did their automated car taxi event last night and they sold the news, right? So very typical buy the rumor, sell the news event. But it's down so much so that it hit SSR. So when a stock is down 10%, you get short sale restricted, which means you're no longer able to sell or short Tesla as it's ticking down. You can only sell it as it moves upside. So basically you have to sell a limit order on a drive up. You could not sell a market or limit order as it ticks down, which is why you often see a bounce once stocks go SSR, right? Because it becomes much harder to sell. So that's all I was saying on Tesla. I was expecting the bounce on it once it went SSR, which it did. So it's now just down 7% as opposed to 10%. Remus, never seen anyone on UIT YouTube with my approach. Very informative, amazing knowledge to grasp. Well, thank you very much. Very kind of you. I think most traders on YouTube just probably make money or lose money and aren't necessarily fully open with what they're trading. I think there are some that are other ways. I think Trades by Matt, from what I understand, is very open with what he's looking for and how he trades. But I can't comment on too many. I haven't really watched too many guys or girls. I think Tanya is very open with how she trades and what she looks for, probably why she's got a good following. So there are some, but yes, the majority of them are just screaming at YouTube, ripping their shirts open, calling themselves alphas, usual stuff. Yeah, I'm probably a bit too old for that. So I wasn't even going to do YouTube, but it was well requested from guys I worked with, so it made sense. No names. Not just him, though. Plenty of others, you know. Plenty of others who trade small caps who add massive positions for tiny moves and then rip their shirt open and do a big song and dance about it because it looks good on YouTube and TikTok. Lots of that stuff going on. But look, each to their own. I absolutely respect anyone that does it. Trading's really tough, and I can tell you what, trading on YouTube is really, really hard because well, at least for me, maybe others don't feel the same. I feel very responsible. I don't want to get anyone into bad trades. So it adds extra pressure, probably makes you maybe not take trades that maybe I should. But yeah, I have massive respect for anyone that's trading, anyone that's doing it on YouTube. I really don't believe that there needs to be, it's the best way of putting it, doesn't need to be competition in the industry. I talk about that a lot. It really doesn't need to be like I'm doing this and you're not as good as me and all of that. Like, it's fucking waste of time, pardon my French, but it really is. If you're competing, comparing yourself to someone else, you're not focused on yourself. And trading is a very much you versus you event. You are your own worst enemy. You are your own boss. It's trading your emotions and the way you trade. There's millions of ways to trade. You don't need to trade how I trade. I'm sure there's plenty of people who turn up on stream, maybe don't like how I trade or have their own system, which is fine. I've just taken years to develop my system because it works for me and I know I've got edge with it. But if you're good at trading just ICT or just an EMA cross or just a flag break, whatever it is, that's fine. All you've got to do is find edge and make money. You don't have to trade like anyone else, but you definitely don't need to, you know, be calling other people out and being nasty and stuff. There's far too much of that goes on. But I think it's just for likes and to cause a stir in the industry. I'm really not interested in that at all. The guys that I learnt from are, you know, I used to trade in a private room of small caps with lots of guys from S&B Capital. We were out there helping each other. There was never one occasion where one of us was calling the other person out. We might disagree on what we're looking at, but it was never done in a malice way. So I think there's plenty of room to be positive, not just in trading, just in life in general. There's far too much negativity out there. Far too much. It's good to be a good person. As I found yesterday, all of you that turned up yesterday, when I was open with you on stream with what I'm going through right now with my family, you were very, very kind. And it's a good reminder that there's a lot of kind people out there, and love travels much, much further than hate. And it's really important to remember that. Really important. SMB, yeah, on another league, mate. I used to trade with, there's about 4 or 5 of us in a private room together, and we used to trade small caps together. It was really good for a few years until the liquidity really started to dry up. It was really, really good. We had a great time. We had a really good team together. Not all of them were SMB. Some weren't. Some have gone on to run their own rooms now. Guys like Laser Wolf, JJ Ryan. Tons of guys. Some of them, I think, are educators over at Investors Underground now. But we had a good time for quite a few years. And the system we traded wasn't completely indifferent to this. All right, so here you go, a little breakdown here of this trend line. Like this trend line here, so it might want to wash more liquidity. Again, the edge in this was the VIX, right? Look at the VIX, held the IB low, bounced off it. ES did not want to come and trade upside, never washed any liquidity upside. They're still just dancing in that range. But yeah, there's tons of useful information out there. It doesn't always have to be futures. I think the best podcasts and books are normally psychology based. If you go to the early chat with traders, listen to any of the interviews with guys from S&B Capital. I would listen to stuff with like Mike Katz and all that team. I like the interview with Nate from Investors Underground. It's probably 6 years old now, and he talks about where he lost all his money, or a lot of his money, because he went to put money on the parking meter to stop his car or motorbike getting towed. Just really basic stuff and fun stuff, you know. I would say do the Modern Market Wizards. They're good books to listen to. Nice, easy books to listen to over the weekend. Yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, that's probably it from me, unless there's anything else. Body bag, I'm going to be the first. All right, I'm not going to say that out loud. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone here that turns up. All the new viewers, thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you enjoyed today. Whether you got a trade or not, hopefully you enjoyed today. I'm closing out my day $1,700 in the money, just under $1,800. That will probably do me for a Friday, as I call them, Freaky Fridays. You never know what's going to happen. Really appreciate all of you and all the regular guys. Thank you, and girls, sorry, need to get that right. All the regular people, there we go. Thank you so much for turning up all the time. Really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate the kindness that you've showed recently with everything going on. And I will be back on Monday. If I get time, I will do that educational video on trading reversals, because I reckon in the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to have a really nice reversal on the higher time frames. Until then, you know the score, all right? Just stick with momentum, use hard stops, don't get trapped, don't be buying supply, don't be selling demand, all the usual stuff. Till then, peace out. Thank you so much, team. Have a great weekend.